Happening now in Harrisburg, pro-life advocates are gathering for a march calling for an end to abortion in Pennsylvania.
It's absolutely the wrong thing for a lot of reasons that we're going to shut our government down.
A spending battle heats up in Washington. The 7 votes that may keep the federal government from a partial shutdown.
And then he blinked. He blinked and saw his savior in paradise.
Charlie Kirk's widow fought back tears as she spoke at his memorial service in Arizona.
This is coverage you can count on. WGAL News 8 at noon starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan Shapiro. Abortion opponents are rallying at the state capitol today at the annual Pennsylvania March for Life. 8 on Your Side political reporter Tom Lehman joins us live from Harrisburg on how the issue of access to abortion could impact the elections this fall. Tom.
Yeah, Susan, you know, these judicial races this fall loom large. To give you an idea of how impactful they could be, one attendee was handing out literature urging for people to vote for Republican judges and then also to vote out Democratic judges in this year's elections. But obviously, the issue of abortion itself bringing a lot of people here to the state capitol. You can see that the steps here are filled right over on State Street as these people begin to start marching. A lot of these abortion opponents across from Pennsylvania are here urging policymakers to take further action to restrict or even ban abortion here in the future. Now, even though organizers say this event isn't explicitly political, the reality is that many Republican lawmakers are taking part, speaking out in support for more restrictions on abortion, which is legal up to 6 months in Pennsylvania. Organizers and legislators urge the crowd to do what they could to impact elections this fall and support pregnancy resource centers.
Life is a precious gift from God, and I think we've seen that in our news the past week. And we have to do all that we can do to protect life. That's why we march. That's why today matters.
Now, obviously, elections for the judiciary will be important this year as they may be taking up cases involving abortion. But also, organizers for this event told me that there is a lot to pay attention to on the horizon as well, with the gubernatorial races and legislative races next year as well. We'll have more on the event coming up at News 8 today, News 8 later today. But for now in Harrisburg, Tom Lehman, WGAL News 8.
Breaking news, the memorial at the Northern York County Regional Police Department continues to grow for the 3 police officers killed last week, and now their funeral services have been announced. They will take place later this week. The funeral for Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser will be held Thursday at noon at the Living Word Community Church in Red Lion. The viewings and interment services will be private. Today is the deadline to vacate a tent city in Harrisburg that has sprung up. News 8's Jacob Hunziker reports.
This morning, we've seen a number of people who are homeless leaving this encampment just below I-83. We've seen a number of belongings, areas of trash, what looks like an entire spot that was burned, as well as makeshift tents, all being moved as these people try and find a new place to call home. All of this comes after PennDOT announced a deadline for what's known as Tent City to be vacated. That deadline is today. A number of Capitol Police units, along with members of the Capital Area Coalition on Homelessness, were out this morning. They went into the Tent City to speak to those living there and told them it was time to leave. From what we could see, there was only one person who was giving law enforcement a hard time. There was a small argument that broke out between officers and that one person. He remained on edge for the entirety of the time that we've been here, antagonizing officers. Other than that, though, the rest of the people that we've seen have been cooperative as they move their items and belongings to a new place. This is all a part of PennDOT's upgrades and construction to I-83. From what we understand, this current encampment, otherwise known as Tent City, is going to be a part of the construction site for the ongoing work, which we are told is set to start tomorrow. Reporting in Harrisburg, Jacob Hunziker, WGAL News 8.
A bit of a cloudy start to the work week, but we are seeing a little bit of blue there, especially there in Lancaster. Meteorologist Mary Ellen Pan joins me now with more on the forecast. Mary Ellen.
Thanks a lot, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we do have a lot of clouds out there still at this hour, but the trend will be for those clouds to decrease as we head further into the afternoon hours. So we'll see some brighter conditions here shortly, and that's going to help boost temperatures for the arrival of fall. It comes in at 219, just a couple of hours. It is going to be warm, though, so it's not necessarily going to feel like the start of fall. You'll notice the dew points will be going up. We're in the 50s to right around 60, so comfortable. But tonight and in the next several days, we're going to see these numbers climbing, and it's going to start to turn a little sticky. We haven't had to talk about the humidity for a while because it's been so comfortable. Right now, 68 in Lebanon, 69 in Lancaster, 68 in Carlisle. We have 72 in Gettysburg, 66 in Lewistown. Here's a look at your 12-hour forecast. With the clouds decreasing, the sunshine increasing, that's going to help boost those temperatures quickly. We're looking at a high of around 80 degrees, and then we'll fall through the 70s as we head through the rest of the evening. We'll continue to see those skies clear out, at least for a few hours. And then as we get into the overnight period, partly cloudy skies. Now tomorrow I am tracking the threat for showers and some thunder showers. In fact, we have a couple opportunities for wet weather, much needed. I'll have the details and show you hour by hour when to expect them.
Breaking news, police in Columbus, Georgia say a suspected gunman is dead after a shooting this morning at an Amazon delivery warehouse. Officers responded to an active shooter call shortly before 5 a.m. at a new delivery station in Columbus. The alleged shooter's identity and possible motive have not been announced. No other injuries were reported. A vehicle crashed into a home last night in York, sending one person to the hospital. Dispatchers say the crash happened just after 10:30 last night on North Belvedere Avenue near Philadelphia Street. Those streets were closed for more than 3 hours while crews were on the scene. A fire last night caused significant damage to Newt's Tap Room in Shippensburg, Cumberland County. Firefighters were called out around 10:30 to the business at 15 West King Street between North Earl and North Seneca Streets. Fire Chief Randy O'Donnell says the fire started in a backroom storage area of the restaurant, which was closed at the time. Residents who live above the restaurant smelled smoke, then went outside and saw flames and called 911. The chief says there is significant damage to the storage area and some smoke and heat damage in the kitchen. No one was hurt, but one resident has been displaced. A state police fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire. A fire overnight damaged a home in Manheim Township, Lancaster County. The fire started just after midnight on Bloomfield Drive near Cobbler's Court. The roof of the home appears to have some damage. No one was hurt. Continuing coverage of the deadly ambush in York County. 3 northern York County regional police officers were killed and 2 other law enforcement officers wounded last week. News 8's Gabrielle Thomas has more from Manchester Township on an effort to help their families.
This tragedy is weighing heavy on the York County community as they continue to mourn the loss of those 3 fallen officers. You can see the memorial here at the police department has grown. This just shows you how much the community appreciates the sacrifices that those officers made. There are also some heartfelt messages and prayers here on the sidewalk outside of the police department. And if you would like to donate, the police department now has a vetted website that you can donate to. The Honor Their Service portal is all a part of a partnership between Northern York County Regional Police Department, York County Sheriff's Office, and the York County Safety Collab. This official portal has been vetted by the police department and is a way for you to donate safely to the families of Detective Mark Baker, Sergeant Detective Cody Becker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser. The support has been ongoing, and just last week, first responders and community members lined the streets as their bodies were being transported through the area. The chief of the Northern York County Regional Police Department said in part, quote, "By contributing through Honor Their Service, you can be assured that every dollar raised will go directly to the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice and to those still recovering." As of last Friday, a 4th officer and York County Sheriff's Deputy David Godfrey are still in satisfactory condition. If you would like to donate to the Honor Their Service portal, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen. And we also have the link on our website, WGAL.com. Reporting here in Manchester Township, I'm Gabrielle Thomas, WGAL News 8.
A memorial service was held yesterday in Arizona for conservative activist Charlie Kirk. President Trump and many other prominent conservatives were among the speakers at the event. NBC's Jay Gray reports.
Well, crews throughout the morning and now continue to clear away some of the barricades, some of the security apparatus that surrounded this stadium yesterday. It was a huge crowd here, 95,000 or more who gathered, many in the early morning hours to get in line. But this stadium behind us wasn't big enough to handle the crowd. In fact, tens of thousands spilling out and into an arena across the street just to be a part of the memorial honoring Charlie Kirk. It was a 5-hour event and included friends, family members, colleagues, all praising Kirk and honoring his memory. 6 members of President Trump's cabinet spoke, along with Vice President J.D. Vance, and of course President Trump was the closing speaker. He spoke for about 45 minutes honoring Kirk, but also at times shifting to more of a political or campaign style speech. The most moving part of the day for many was Kirk's widow, who spent time sharing her pain, talking about her husband, vowing that their mission and message will continue in his passing. She, of course, was voted unanimously by the board of his organization, Turning Point USA, to take over as the CEO. So many here listening to that message, drawn here by that message, and they were the same. They left here saying that they are invigorated and that the message will continue. That's the very latest right now here in Glendale, Arizona. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Memorials were held across the country and here in the Susquehanna Valley for Charlie Kirk. Buck Motorsports Complex in Lancaster County celebrated Kirk's life last night during a free event. People who came out for the vigil spoke about the turnout and what it means for the community.
Oh, the turnout's great. The turnout's great. There are people, and the people are still coming to show love.
To hear what's going on, to see what's going on, to see the people that come together. This is needed to be done.
Hundreds of people showed up for the vigil in Lancaster County. The deadline to keep the federal government open is now approaching. A Republican short-term spending bill still has some Democratic support. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is the only Democrat to sign on. News 8's Rachel Hersheimer reports from Capitol Hill.
In order to pass the GOP's short-term spending bill through the Senate, Republicans need at least 7 Democrats, and so far only one is going against his own party.
It is absolutely the wrong thing for a lot of reasons that we're going to shut our government down.
Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania is sticking to his beliefs.
I would love to restore a lot of those healthcare things. That's the right outcome, but that's a dangerous tactic if you are going to shut the government down for one of our policies.
Fetterman's the only Democrat to side with Republicans on their short-term spending bill to keep the government funded through November.
So I want to thank Senator John Fetterman. He wants to keep the country open.
Democrats are proposing a plan to reverse cuts to Medicaid and protect programs making private health care cheaper.
Healthcare was decimated. People are losing their health care. Hospitals are closing. People are losing their jobs.
On Friday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries sent a letter to President Donald Trump demanding a meeting about a bipartisan agreement. Over the weekend, the president told reporters he remains open to a meeting but was dismissive of the Democratic leadership. In March, Senator Schumer at the last minute voted for a GOP funding bill to keep the government open. At this point, there's no indication he's going to give in. On Capitol Hill, I'm Rachel Hersheimer.